Hello and a warm welcome to the TheWenDirkCast with me, Jimbo, and he's back. Calvinator is back. We'll be discussing the latest NFL updates, transfers, developments, and so much more. Because it's 17 days since we last did a recording, and oh my word, has a lot gone on in MFL over that time. But one important note before we get straight into all that information and great stuff. None of what we chat about is financial advice. Do your own scouting or hire a director of metaverse football. Last episode, we substituted someone in for you, Calva. We got Taggart in because you were away.
Yes.
Now we've got you back. You're not quite at home, but you're somewhere that we can still record an episode, right?
Yeah, I'm back off the bench after not off the bench, right? Maybe I was suspended.
A bit fatigued, maybe suspended. yeah, disciplinary.
But yeah, I'm almost back home. I'm now in Berlin, so live recording from Berlin. On the last part of the holiday, enjoying it, and but I have my laptop, so we can record. You can maybe hear the quality is a bit less, or maybe it's even better, and we should switch back to this setup. But let's see.
You've actually gone to Berlin to go support Fantasy Gaffer's Diamond side, is that correct?
Yes, I went to one meta match and also to a real match. Union Berlin Rangers was really amazing. Union fans are nuts. They are
you said it was a 4-4 game, right?
Yeah, 4-4.
Which is like the perfect neutral pre-season friendly
and
game.
The amazing
loads
thing
of goals.
Is that the speaker shouts like, what's the score? And then they say the Berlin goals, let's say 4. But then they will shout 0 for the away team. So they never say that they scored. They never admit that they scored. So. An amazing chants and songs. So it was really cool attending that match.
Awesome.
But yeah, good to catch up right now because I feel like I missed out on so much, and there was so much talk in general, so much happening in the sales bot. So it's really good to be back and be catching up now.
It's been good. So if you're wondering what we're going to be chatting about today, we're basically going to be sort of recapping the last 3 weeks in MFL, what's been going on over the summer. I know summer is still in full flow, but for Calva and I coming to the end of our little holiday season, it's sort of the end of the summers for us, you could say, and also recapping the AMA because we had that on last Tuesday for about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, lots of great information in there, and we're sort of just going to run through some of it, our opinions, sort of our initial thoughts, pieces like that, because there was some really valuable information in there, some questions answered by MFL. As well as a little few sort of hints at things. So without further ado, we'll get straight into it. I've got a question for you, mate. I always look out for Black Sea because Arango's there, and I've got to the point where I think you're tanking the season now. I'm just looking at it each week, and each match day, and I just see either 1 point or 0 points gained from that club. What is going on, fella? What's going on in that? Over there?
First of all, I must admit that this has been my worst season for all clubs, I think, because I just had less time to keep setting the lineups, to keep testing. It was maybe like an experiment, like what happens if you're not managing your team so actively and not testing so much.
Yeah.
Plus, I had the tactic, right, like of no tactics. With the new engine, that seems to work not as well. So I think I got punished for that. Plus, playing a bit more fatigued players because every maybe 3-4 days in real life you're changing some things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately Black Sea is on the receiving end of that, and Arango too. So maybe you have to renegotiate his contract soon.
Yeah, if there's any other competition, if any other team comes scouting around and they have a better offer. But I think we make it into this later that there's quite a few different boats of people who have opinions of the engine this season. I, for one, think I quite like it because I'm doing quite well at the moment.
That's great.
And other people aren't doing so well, so they don't really like it. Which I guess if you're not doing well, you don't like the engine, right? That's usually how it goes.
We've been saying like maybe don't test so much or don't test at all because it will keep updating and keep changing. But after this season, I really feel like I do need to do some more testing and check some tactics that work, especially for Black Sea, because this 4-2-2-2 I play with basic instructions, like all in the middle, all balanced, doesn't seem to work really well. Plus, I've not been the most active with rotating. I have only one team, only the Navigators. They are still in the title race. Nice. 2 games to go, and they're 2 points behind the leaders, Little Big City, managed by Duff. So
I was going to say, I recognise that side, yeah.
Maybe if Duff loses tonight or tomorrow, I can still leapfrog and gain at least one title from this very inactive and not very good season. Yeah. But personally, as a coach, I've been having a great holiday, so that's also worth something.
That's the main thing, yeah.
But what about your teams then?
So my second team, obviously the one that I basically just announced what I was doing for the whole season, they're currently 5th, but they're 4 points off second and third, so it's very tight at the top there. And we basically we're playing second from bottom is one of our last 2 games. So I'm hoping we get at least 4 points. So anywhere above 6th, I'll take. I want to get top 3 because it gets a little trophy in your standings or your history. Yeah, right? Anything above 5th or above will do, because in Basti's little projection piece, just based on like the overall best 11, not done by position, but we were like 6th. So to come above that, we've overachieved. But then the Wyverns is where it gets kind of interesting, because we're second in the league. We're 4 points off first, but we've got the cup final to come as yet. And I'm not saying anything about the engine or I'm not commenting on how I've done tactics or how well I felt I was doing, apart from, I've already said I feel like I've done quite well, until that game's over, because I will jinx the hell out of it. And the one thing that's really bugging me, I said last episode, I'm quite a superstitious person when it comes to MFL, is that the team that I'm playing in the final of the IMF Cup is someone from my group stage. And I beat this team twice in the group stage.
That's...
And what makes me even more superstitious is that when the Wyverns won their first IMFF Cup, we played in the final a team from my group stage. And I lost twice to that team in the group stage, but beat them in the final. So now I'm thinking in my head, I did it back in season 0.3, where I lost twice in the group stage to one team, and then I beat them in the final. Now I'm thinking it's going to be reversed, and I'm going to get beaten by a team that I beat twice in the group stage. But hopefully, we'll win.
Yeah, in terms of superstition, it doesn't feel well.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. Well, if we do end up losing, then I'll go, oh, well, I told you so. I did say it on the pod.
Yeah, and he's like thinking like 3 times the charm, probably.
Yeah.
So... usually in tournament football, you often see this in World Cups too, right? Like when the teams meet again, then the other team wins. In some way, it's like...
Well, not speaking of the World Cup, but we'll do a quick 30-second on this while we can sort of insert it. Obviously, the Euros happened. Gutted that England lost. Spain deserved to win it, but still gutted to lose in the last 10 minutes of a major final. I thought we still gave it a good go. Fair play to Spain, and obviously in the MFL Euros. Germany.
Well, I lost in the semis. So
yes, you lost in the semis.
On penalties. Yeah. So it was like, I think we were the better side with like shots. But yeah, penalty is always a lottery, as they say. So
yeah, that's a tough one to take, a penalty.
But yeah, Germany
did really well getting to the semis though. Yeah,
they won their home tournament, so good for them.
Yeah, I think they were always one of the favourites. So congrats to Sturgeon and everyone else, and congrats to everyone who took part and got their share of MFL. I'm sure we'll talk about that later, because that caused some. That had a bit of chat in the Discord. But right, enough of the weekly our personal journey. Do you want me to fly through dev updates? I feel like I'm a bit more.
I think you're a bit more up to date.
Yeah, I've been following it. You've sort of completely gone out for a couple of weeks. I've sort of been trying to follow along with it. So there's been 3 dev updates, near enough, since we last did one of these. So I'm just going to sort of quickly rattle through. Obviously, player progression since we last aired. Well, we chatted about it, but it's actually fully been released now. Detailed explanation has been released. Shout out to Quinton and Mathurin for that. 2D visualization, there's been significant progress in this, improved UI, revamped code base. And we can get onto it more later, but Yax also did sort of say in an upcoming dev update that hopefully it could be ready for midway through next season, which we're interested in. Not beforehand, but maybe mid-season. So anything's possible. And he's taking a break, of course, at the moment. So on that one, there's some engine fixes, some bug fixes to the engine, goalkeeper bugs, improved team instructions, that sort of thing. Some core mechanics are being revised based on feedback, so wing utilizations could be potentially improved, or is going to be improved. So does that mean that wings aren't performing as well at the moment, or could be perform more. Leave it up to you to decide that. Club matches, so the added filters for competitions and friendly matches, really neat. So if someone keeps like friendlying your team all the time and you want to see how you've done like a record in the league, you can just click league and you can just look at all those matches. Obviously, the mid-season transfer window and how that happened with the improved UI, error handling, QA. Badges, you may not notice it on your profile when other people view your profile. It's a little badge system implemented for the European Championship. So if you had any shares and any nations, you got a little badge. I thought that all the managers would get a cool little badge, unless they have, and I've not actually seen it yet because I only saw it the first time it got released. But if not, I would like one of those, even though England did stink out of the place. And then I think the last bit, which is almost what Cal and I have been doing, that some of the team members have been taking holiday the next couple of weeks. So I think that was this week's episode. So dev update. So Quinton gave a little update saying everyone's on holiday. So don't expect Lucas, Yak, Smithy, or I'm assuming it's those three. I know Yak's definitely. I think Lucas is big chillin' as well. So there's plenty more I could have talked about, but in the AMA we can discuss more about it. But basically, player progression is the big one that got released. Some engine fixes, some improvements to engine,
and more teasers. I think everyone's most excited about mostly about the 2D new UI. I think 100%. That looks really amazing.
Yeah,
and maybe next summer we have to sync our holidays with the team, right? That's,
maybe, yeah. We'll have to sync
we stay well up to date on everything.
We'll have to ask, put it in our calendars. And I think also Quinton mentioned in most recent dev update that he's looking at adding a couple more formations as well. No tease or what those might be, but he's working on a few more. So I know once that message got posted, a few people were like, "Hey, could it be this, please, boss?" And no response. But yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to the next couple seasons, which we'll get onto later with all this summer stuff going on.
Yes.
Also, one thing I'll just quickly chat about, mid-season transfer window. Did you utilise it at all for any of your clubs? Did you bring in some players, or were you sort of just because you've been away, just relatively chill?
Yeah, so of course, I had to use the transfer window because I used the MFL I won with Poland in the Euro, which the semi-final, and Poland didn't sell so many shares, so I had quite a lot of MFL. I bought 2 rare packs and 6 uncommon packs, so it was quite a lot. And with those 2 rares, I was very lucky. Look, usually on stream, right, you've seen me usually packing like a 75, 78, and now I got like 2 83s. Also, the ironic thing is that I did it with my mom at my parents' house. And I was like, look, this is this weird game I've been talking about. But her reaction was like, okay, now sell it. And use it for house investments and other
that's what
costs.
My parents are like.
Yeah. So with like, she was clicking almost. So this could be almost hashtag mom pack. But she packed 2 83s, 2 rare, like 2 83 rare players. So that was amazing. So I had to, of course, use them in my team. So I signed them to Casablanca, and I also had some other good uncommon, like 71, 72. I signed to other clubs. So I did use it a lot because of those new, pretty good players I got from the Euro rewards. Yeah, so that was great to do.
Yeah, utilizing them. Well, it seems that if you open a pack with someone or somewhere other than, say, the lounge or your bedroom or wherever you usually open your packs, you get good luck. You know, you were doing it with your mum. King Dingling got Jeremy Clare whilst doing a poo. Sturgeonator, when he got his 2 legendaries through the single player packs, was also on the toilet as well, and he basically verifying that hashtag poo pack is a viable strategy for opening packs. So with future players or drops or the single player packs, if you get a good player or you're on the toilet, let us know. Because if you get a bad player on the toilet, don't let us know. We already want to hear if you get a good player on the toilet. We want to continue this trend.
New MFL superstition is
or if there confirmed. Is it hashtag surfing pack? Where's the wildest place we can open a pack and get a good player? So we want to hear, maybe next drop, we want to hear your wildest stories and locations and events when it comes to opening player pack.
Let me then start with the season update.
Yes, sir.
So obviously we have not talked about the Diamond League for a couple of weeks, and it's really approaching. Well, there's still a title race going on and 2 matches are still to be played, and I would say it's a very exciting title race. We've been talking about Dio's Bistione Milano, and that we didn't want to jinx it. We had a hashtag about it, right? That we didn't want to talk about it. I think, unfortunately, that also didn't help because he gave away that lead, and now Club Atletico Tango, Big Wilbert's team, is in the first, and Dio with trailing by 2 points in second.
Well, I mean, gave away the lead. It's also gave away the club.
I don't know if I should do later, a little cliffhanger spoiler here, but fresh, I would say that in Dutch, say like fresh from the press.
Yeah, fresh, hot. We'll say hot off the press.
Hot off the press, exactly.
Hot off the press, like it's fresh hot off the press. I would say.
Yeah, there's been a big change. So he's not the owner anymore, but we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, and on that, I've got Dio has messaged me, and I've got a little bit of a breakdown of it. So you're going to hear exclusive, hot off the press content and information about the huge trade which has gone down literally in the last hour. So look out for that.
So the team formerly owned by Dio, Bistione Milano, is in second place, and Meta in third. I think BFC Barcelona bowlers, they had not their best season. They're in seventh place with 21 points. Furthermore, I think Orche has really maybe he gave up halfway the season because he's bottom with only 1 point out of 16 matches.
Mm-hmm.
And the team I secretly follow because Virgil Matthews, my only legendary, is playing there, SV Berlin.
Yeah.
Which is, I've also watched them in the Meta Stadium, right? They are 8th with 14 points. So quite an exciting season. That you follow it a bit more? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting that we've got different title contenders, sort of like the latter stage of the season. It'd be really nice to see either Dio's Milano or just Big Wilbert's Tango. You know, Big Wilbert has made some massive purchases during the season, beforehand, big signings, really upgrading that squad heavily. So much so that remember he brought in, I think it's one of the new strikers, 89 rated, 96 shooting, that Argentine striker who's now the top scorer, and looks like he could be breaking the Diamond season record for most goals in a season if he gets like 3 or 4 more. So I think maybe Tango holds out, but
it would be his first Diamond League title. So it would be,
and also if he gets the Titans Cup as well, then could get a double. So.
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk about that in the Titans Cup final, it's again Atletico Tango and also Joe B's OM Legends, who are 4th right now in Diamond League. So they also have a great season. It seems that he's really kind of becoming a top 4 team. We had like this traditional top 3.
Yeah.
So he's more like a top 4 team. And again, the second final in a row. He lost the last one, so hopefully
the Londinium,
for him, he'll do better this time. And Big Wilbert could go for the double, which would be really amazing for him.
Yeah.
So right, exciting season.
Yeah, so we've been off for a couple of weeks, and I think, Calva, you were looking forward to, but almost dreading the amount of research and backlog you had to go through for the marketplace update. So I'll set the timer for 10 minutes, and I'm giving you a maximum of 10 minutes to read off all these names.
Thank you. Well, I must admit that I did not really have so much time to do the whole 3 weeks, but I've done my best to do at least the past week, like a proper marketplace update with some additional shout-outs, but the splash of the week and trade of the week will have definitely the whole 3 weeks we're going to discuss. So some new managers I saw are Z4 Stars, Greasy 15, Le Bon Trien, Francesco Costa, interesting name Girthquake, and Alexandro. I have to say the name on air right now.
Girthquake, that is a fantastic name.
Someone added an eggplant emoji to that. And the new user of the week is Raul Lilo. And why I made him new user of the week is because he purchased the Stone Club straight off the market. So I think most new users, they buy the Ice Club pack, have that pack opening experience, but he went straight to Stone also for a lower price. I think it's pretty smart to do your research, buy a nice Stone Club and start off like that. Okay, active managers. So bulk buying. I saw Lauro Poschi, Spinos, J Mendes, Ed, XVIX, Momo Juve and Mansour, GB Australia and Jack Daniels. Not the whiskey brand, I guess, but they were bulk buying.
Yeah.
Rare players, I think Matmat 76, he was very active. Got us some shout out in general. And also 408 Sauce, they both went on the shopping spree, got quite a lot of rare players. 408 Sauce also got a legendary guy, 85 for 475. Crazy Cult got a legendary, Nyako. 86 Raider for 700 USD. And Profound Soda got an 87 for 559, so it's kind of a bargain there. Club-wise, also still some clubs in the past week. We saw Mansour, Kuka, Sora 85, Tonton, Fortress Agency, another one. Jay Mendes, Oh Yeah Jesus, also a great name. They bought another Stone Club, Rinuccio, Iron Valencia, Crazy Gold got Zurich Bronze for 200, so that bronze floor moving up. Bruzel, Vienna Bronze, Met 76 Bronze Rosario, and Apo Gons, I don't know how to pronounce that, Belgrade Bronze. So loads of bronze clubs, not higher, in the sales bot this week. So still quite an active week, and yeah, it's not complete, but next week it will be fully up to date for sure. And then I'll hand it over to you for loads of info about trades and splashes.
Trade and splash of the week. Honestly, there's been so much that has gone on, specifically on one day, on the 18th of July. I don't even know which order to do any of this bit in, because there's so many parts to this. So just a quick one before we all get into trade and splash of the week. The 18th of July, we saw the most amount of money transacted in the marketplace, $14,847, which is crazy money. So that was the most amount of money ever spent on one day in the marketplace. And there was a couple of massive contributions to that, which we'll get into a splash of the week. But I guess we'll go through trade of the week first. Well, trades of the month, trades of the last 3 weeks. So one of the trades I want to highlight first is on the 18th of July, on that big day, not only was there massive sales, there was also massive trade. Ronan and Joe B having a little bit of a trade with each other. So Ronan receiving an 85 rated, and then Joe B getting 3 90s and a 91. I will admit there's probably some other side to this that I don't know of, or I've not caught onto because there's just so much to go through. I feel like it might have been a purchase of a player of some sort. There probably is that I'm just not actually finding or looking at because there's been so much. So there was that. Joe B getting those players from Ronan. And then literally, a couple of... Well, actually, another one from Ronan, sorry, before we move on to the next one. Sturgeonator exchanging his MFL winnings or share winnings from the Euros, got 2 or 3 legendary packs, and one of them he packed a 93 rated South Korean from the name of Tai Gyong Gonzalez, bit of an odd surname for the South Korean area, but he swapped him 93 rated. But Dirk, we're like, oh my god, Dirk's on the move. Dirk's on the move. What is this? He's getting a new agent. And then, well, actually, where do I even go from this? Because I guess I'll go straight to splash of the week, and then we'll have to jump back.
Let's do the first splash of the week. Let's do multiple.
So the first splash of the week, we're just talking about Dirk. So Dirk went to Sturge, and then splash of the week. Splashes. There's multiple ones of the same value, so it's splashes. Dirk was transferred to Sturge, and then literally a couple of hours later, Dio's like, I want him. $2,500. Dio buys
massive
Dirk
splash
off Sturge. And then literally within a couple of hours of that, someone who, or Y with about 4 U's afterwards, who owns a diamond club but has never actually entered into any competitions, he was like, right, I'm getting involved this season. Well, looks like it. Go and drops another $2,500 on Stipo Nincevic, the 94 rated Croatian cam off Ronan. So a massive purchase. But then the splash of this calendar week was by Joe B purchasing Hayri Yilmaz. Yilmaz. I haven't got a clue for that.
I think everyone calls him Hayri anyway.
Just call him a Hayri.
Yeah.
I've been off for 2.5 weeks. It's not a good name to come back to. For $2,000. So absolutely crazy amounts of money being spent on the marketplace. But enough of the splash of the week. We need to go back to trade of the week again. So, hot off the press, as we called it, Dio and Scrub. I messaged Dio and I said, Dio, mate, I hope you're well, fella. We're recording an episode for the pod in a bit. Can I get a little quote from you about acquiring Dirk in his, in his Dutch delicacies and his talent? He went, yeah, sure. Give me 15 minutes. 15-minute passers, bomb. Absolute bombshell in the trade bot. Scrub and Dio have the massive trade. So, Scrub has received 93 rated Damian Maciejewski. Well, you can pronounce that better than I can.
Maciejewski, yeah.
Maciejewski, yeah. I think
good job.
Lars Tyson, 93 rated. Freddie Zapata, I think it's the best left back in the game, 92 rated. Another 92 rated player. 91 rated player. 89 rated player. And then Dio's Biscioni Milano, his diamond club, the one that is in second currently. And Dio received, of course, one non-MFL NFT. So we know what that is. That's a little bit of
the infamous NFT.
An infamous NFT of some amount of money, basically. So I was like, yo, Dio, mate, I want that quote about Dirk, but I also want an explanation to what is going on. So, hot off the press, right here, right now, TheWenDirk exclusive, unless between now and then he also announces the Discord as well. But I'm going to read it word for word. I hope he's going to be okay with that. To be honest, he goes, it's been an amazing ride with Biscioni Milano, but after 7 seasons of chasing the trophy, it was time to take a breather. He's only 2 points off top. He still can get there if he wanted to. He goes, it's time to take a breather. The fight at the top is relentless, and it was costing me quite some time and energy. And then it all came together. Because with Dirk coming home to Amsterdam is Dio's platinum club. So I think is it Amsterdam Lions it's called? Yeah, Amsterdam Lions. So, yeah. Amsterdam Lions. So that's Dio's platinum club, which is a club that is about 80% or most of it is Dutch players anyway. So he goes, because with Dirk coming home to Amsterdam, I felt that team was finally ready to get ready for Diamond League, which would have brought me into a situation to make decision anyway as soon as season 1 hits, in case I actually managed to get promoted, because you can't have 2 diamond teams. So he's future-proofing. He's thinking into the future here. And the one Dio football club that has always meant to be in diamond is the Amsterdam Lions. There will be at least 80% Dutch players. He says, I might need some other subs to help out while we're waiting for more Dutch talent to show up, but the bulk will be homegrown talent. So he goes, so all of that combined, it made me sell Biscioni to Scrub, who after some time away was itching to get back into it. And he took over some key players with it as well. But he said, but no worries, Dio is going nowhere, just in case people thought he was jumping out, cashing out sort of thing. He says, Dio is going nowhere. He's going to remain. Amsterdam will be their flagship team, followed by Manchester Hive and possibly another plat or gold team at one point. After that, 6 teams from silver to iron with only 99% under 18 players. The last line, DFC is ready for season 1. So he's sort of
announcement.
He's
great.
Yeah, so he's almost gone, well, my plat team's probably going to get promoted. It's a Dutch team. Let's bring Dirk to that Dutch team. And then just scale out of Diamond because he thinks he's going to be in Diamond anyway. So, and I mean, I can imagine Diamond's quite tough to, like I said, energy and time. So I think, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Cal?
A couple of things. So first of all, it would be very ironic if Scrub manages to win Diamond in those 2 remaining matches. That would be pretty crazy. Also, that Scrub is getting so active is very good to see. And you too. I think he got 11 legendaries also throughout like the past 3 weeks. So I think we'll see almost a full Diamond League with him there, then with Scrub there. And I like Dio's strategy that he's just, okay, I'll focus on the promotion. I'll stack the plat team. I'll put he is from the Netherlands. He has his Amsterdam team. Puts all the Dutch talent there. And yeah, he has a bit of the less pressure, a bit more chill. Also, probably cashed out a little bit, right? Feels also good. So I think it's a great move for him. And from all the other splashes and trades, I think, Joe B is also getting really competitive now. So I think he got like 5 players now of 90 or higher, like extra. So I think Joe B is really going for the title. It's getting even more competitive. So yeah, massive moves.
Well, I've just
Really
received some news as to how big that trade was.
Okay, this is really hot off the press.
Because if you look on the floaty transactions, you could actually see what the value of that was.
Oh wow, that's not.
Do you want to have a guess?
I think I just saw it already.
You've just seen it as well, have you?
Yeah. Announce it to everyone.
So that trade was $11,515. Boom.
Massive. Well,
I don't think even a splash comes near. That's an atomic Bikini Atoll, whatever that islands were in the Pacific that got tested for nuclear bombs. That's a splash. That's an explosive splash.
That can be a good hashtag, Bikini Atoll of the week, maybe.
So, yeah, bikini hashtag Bikini Atoll.
Atoll of the week.
It is Bikini Atoll. Let me just double check. It is Bikini Atoll.
Well, keep listening if this will really be the hashtag.
It is Bikini Atoll. We might have the hashtag Bikini Atoll this. But yeah, just massive trades, massive splashes going round. So just quite the convenience that it happens during the...
during recording, or just before recording. So
just before recording, yeah.
So although we were a bit, let's say, outdated, or let's say our info was a bit, now we're very up to date.
Yeah.
And we bring you the latest news.
Yeah.
So let's move on maybe to how, Dirk, or your final thoughts on this crazy.
No, let's move to how, Dirk.
Let's move because that's also related. So of course, when Dio got him, so it's already in the past. He was playing for Biccione Milano. Well, Dio still owns him. He's still the agent, but he's not managing him anymore. Of course, but Dio signed him to Biccione Milano after he got him. And looking at the stats, I think in each win, he's got very good ratings, like 8.3, 8.1, 8.3, 8.1.
Yeah.
Although no goals, one assist, no goal. So
yeah,
pretty good.
It sort of looks like that when Milano lost both their 2 games since Dirk's been there, it's been when he's had his poor ratings. But every time Biccione Milano, God, I love it when that happens. Swap the first 2 letters of each word around. That when Milano win, he seems to be quite a pivotal player in that win, which is really great to see. So he's played 6 games so far compared to the 10 with Meta Mercenaries, and he's already got equal overall or average match rating. And one thing we did note, I've noticed as well, that he scored 4 goals so far this season, which is more than last year's 1. So, he's times 4. He's 4x'd.
Yeah, all for Meta. So he first needs his first goal for Biccione Milano. Still needs to happen. Well, I think he has only 2 matches for it, because then he goes to Amsterdam. So we'll see if he can get at least 1 goal in a pretty good season then.
Yeah, it's going a good season for him, and maybe, you never know, he could be a Diamond League winner by the time the next episode or the time we next record. So
yes, maybe.
Let's see. A lot
he won it loads of times with Meta, but then with a different team.
Oh, of course, yeah. So with a new club,
the Champions maker.
Yeah. I wonder how many players have won the Diamond League twice with different clubs. That
might be a good one for the quiz.
Good one for the quiz.
Next stream, if we can figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on, I would say, to the summer update. So, obviously, loads of things have happened. I was away for quite a long, but Jimbo, you have kind of made some points we're going to go over.
Well, we've just, I've basically sort of bullet pointed all the key things from the AMA. I managed to jump in for about 75% of it. I had to dip out, but you've not heard. Did you listen to it, read anything, or was this purely the first time you've reacted?
I did not listen. I kind of scanned through the article, kind of focused on the main points. But you've also kind of now written down all the main points. So for other people who have not listened to the AMA or didn't have the time to read it, I think it will be great that we're kind of going through all the main things, and then we can also add our opinion, maybe where it's going in the future.
So initially, we just went through. They went through the player progression overview, basically, because that was the biggest thing that came out. Obviously, the last episode we did with Taggart was on player progression. We had some questions about that. And technically, by the time we were recording that, we hadn't actually been released yet. But because of, we call it Captain Privy, we were able to have a little bit of a look at it. So it basically highlights what player progression is about. So, you've got potential and prime age. Prime age is when a player reaches 80% of their potential. Another hidden stat like potential is, which potential is the hidden attribute determining a player's maximum overall rating. We already sort of knew that, but the prime age thing is new. XP is earned through 50% trading, 50% matches. The XP system is hidden to ensure unpredictable player progression, which is nice. And then the development factors. So the talent gap, the aging, the high overall rating, and then prime age are the main factors contributing, all the development factors that contribute towards a player's progression. And I guess then what everyone really wanted to know about was the Q&A session, right? So people wanted to learn about lots of different things. It wasn't just necessarily on player progression, but just about questions about MFL in general. And it seems like quite a while since we last did one of these AMAs. I'm not exactly sure of the definitive date we last, or we'll say MFL last did one. But a lot of the questions came up. So can we choose the skills that we can level up? And initially, players cannot choose specific skills to level up. But this feature might be considered for future updates. So that could be quite nice. Adding the ability to focus on attributes, positions, even tactics. And I guess maybe by tactics, could that be something along the lines of, in FIFA where you'd have like long throw specialist or, that sort of tactic or specific attributes, those sort of pieces, which could be really nice. So, I think we understand at the moment it's not, you can't choose that, but it's nice to know that it's not a hard cutoff and it's like not a hard no, it might be considered for the future.
Yes. Yeah, I also, so from the notes you sent and from what you discussed, probably player progression from the AMA, maybe we can talk a bit like what is like the key takeaway for users to keep in mind. Yeah. No, so I just read it and went through it. So I think the main thing is that it's really not smart, right, in terms of play progression to stack lower teams right now. Yeah. Like so far we had the incentive of revenue. You lose out on revenue. Like you kind of invest revenue for just titles and trophies. That's, it's nice for honor, but it doesn't matter that much in MFL. But now the second incentive is that you really kill the development of your players if you play them in lower divisions. Yeah. So I think that's one massive thing. And also for shopping and buying players on transfer market, that the higher the overall, kind of the slower the progression will be. Is it correct? Can I say it? Like if you have like a higher rated, they will not progress as fast as lower rated.
Well, I guess age is probably one of the older a player is, then in theory the slower their progression will be. But I guess you don't really know about. I think they've which this sort of leads on to can lead on to that question where someone asked, will XP be visible? And will we see the amount required to improve an attribute? So XP will be hidden, but player progression will be visible to users. So you can sort of use that as an indication when looking at players in the marketplace. How has he progressed over the last couple of seasons? Is he maybe at his potential, or is he at his prime age? Can you get an indication of, how much room has he got left to develop? So it's not completely hidden. I think that's quite nice that you're going to be able to see the progression of a particular player and it's visible to everyone. So it's not just hidden to the manager or the agent of said player. So,
but it's also unpredictable, they say. So it's also not like draw a straight line, right? It's like it's not 2 points in 2 seasons and then exponentially he will develop like that. That's also not the case. So good to take those things in mind. Like, you can see the progress. That might be an indicator for potential. Potential is hidden. And progression is irregular. So you don't really know exactly how he's going to progress, but it's a good indication. Plus, like if someone is playing their amazing legendary in Ice League, that also is not going to show any progress.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He's not going to progress.
I think, though, even though the incentive is there, for clubs maybe around we'll call it bronze to silver or bronze to gold mark, those who maybe have low-end rares in bronze or maybe even iron to that, and people who have maybe high-end rares in even bronze or silver, and then mid-legendaries and say gold, for example, if they know they have a strong squad, it might be worth sacrificing a year or a season of max development, we'll call it, or max progression to achieve that promotion to where they know they'll achieve maximum progression. I think Dio is a good example of that, right? You're going to have Dirk, who is a diamond quality player. Dio is hoping that in that first season or two, maybe maximum, that he can progress to diamond, because you might then think that Dio and Dirk, two dealing with Dio, that Dirk will likely be above the caliber or average caliber of that platinum division, right? So he may lose out on progression XP there. So it's interesting to see will managers try and make that sacrifice and risk 1 or 2 seasons max to try and get promoted. Maybe, Taggard's Park Maple Street, for example, and a few other clubs who maybe should be in the division above.
But I think that's actually, that's worth it, right? Your rewards go significantly up. So to just stack a lower team and then at least get some secure promotions, that might be a good strategy to earn way more with your clubs.
But I think
so. You could sacrifice it for that. Yeah.
You'll have to do your scouting and your research to understand and get an idea of, will I be a strong contender for promotion? There's no point going, I think I might, and then you look at the league and you go, holy moly, I ain't getting top 5, and then you realise you've made a bit of a doo-doo. But
yeah, so there were also some more questions and answers related to player progression. Some were about impact of division and performance. So if you play a very, let's say, low overall player in a high division, would that be like a massive XP gain because he plays with maybe such good players and such good training grounds, etc. But that's not the case, right, Jimbo?
Yeah, so you play a weak player in a division above, there's no direct penalties, but there is no incentive to do that, because you don't earn more XP in higher divisions. And basically, if you've got worse players in your squad, then you're just going to reduce your chances of winning. Or if it's just going to be a player doing nothing, then just a waste of slot.
Yeah. So it's more like the other way around. If you play a very good player in a lower division, you get a penalty, but you're going to get a bonus the other way around.
So it's worth noting that the division you're in does not influence the amount of XP you gain, right? So you don't get more XP for being in Diamond and a lot less for being in Ice. It's all determined basically, are you training with weaker teammates and are you playing against weaker opponents, sort of the main contributors to that. And if you're playing against weaker opponents, you're going to get limited. If you're training with weaker teammates, you're also going to get limited. So, there is, in a way, though, just thinking top of my head here, you can nullify the training with weaker teammates bit by having a nicely rounded team. You can still stack a league, but have a nicely rounded team. So you only really get the penalty for playing against weaker opponents, not for playing with weaker teammates.
Okay.
But I don't know how much that plays into it, or how much that would actually be an effective strategy. But I'm just thinking off my head, this is literally thoughts coming out of my brain as we're talking right now.
Yeah, I guess what are your priorities? So what we talked about before, I think it can be very worthwhile just chasing promotion and getting some quick promotions.
Yeah.
Then you can also really increase the value of your club, and that can be a way to also earn MFL or USD actually.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting aspect that we've mentioned before, but I guess we're getting closer to that point where, what will valuation changes look like when it comes to clubs being promoted and relegated? Will there be a shift in, say, the marketplace prices of clubs? Will, when maybe, because we know when season 1 is here, there's going to be a significant increase in the rewards. Will that then reflect the valuation of clubs on the marketplace? Because ultimately that's where the value of clubs is going to be, in theory, because that's where they're bought and sold, right?
Well, you definitely have to keep an eye out, like on the marketplace. If you buy a gold club who is like with 1 match to go in a relegation spot, then you kind of buy a silver club, pretty much. So you really have to be more careful with promotion relegation kicking in.
Will there be any of these scenarios where a club's in disarray and can't afford to be in the football pyramid, and then someone comes in and buys the club and they've got 40 million debt to have to pay off, or they buy it for £1 because it's got loads of debt? Will that be a situation? Yeah, well, a team is tumbling down the pyramid of MFL and someone has to come in there and just resurrect it and inject some money. And push it back up, or can they get it on the cheap because they've got a poor squad, that sort of thing. It's going to be really interesting. I'm so looking forward, not just to season 1, but promotion, relegation. I can't wait for it. Hopefully I'm on the receiving end of more promotions and relegations, but
you always say, like, it's going to be drama, and it will be very interesting, and especially if people like copy Dio's strategy and maybe drop down a division to work their way back up straight away to the strongest side. That's will be interesting. All right, I think play progression, well, you covered it last week with Taggart, and there's loads of info. If you, let's say, you read the article on that also, that MFL has published.
Yeah, or if you want to listen, there's the audio as well.
Yeah, some other things related to that, for example, about retirement and unused players might be interesting.
Yeah.
So the retirement, there's like this secret longevity attribute, right?
Yeah.
How long a player will play, and also what happens like when he retires. So the team said they don't know yet, so it could be that the retired player will get another role as like a staff member, like a scout or a trainer, but that's not being confirmed. Or maybe he just stays in your like gallery as a superstar or something like that.
Yeah, so they said that at the moment it will be, retired players won't be usable, but they might still be displayed like separately in account, maybe a filter you toggle on to see your retired players. But like you said, there could be potential future uses such as converting them to staff roles, or but primarily they will have no utility to they'll have no utility in the or no utility to maintain the ecosystem balance. Yeah, so there's all, like, once they're gone sort of thing.
Yeah. No, right now, and the rest is pure speculation, but we know that the team really wants to build the game in such a way that there will be staff members, and also, for example, academies, which relates to another question, like what about unused players who just have not been signed to any club? Can they progress? Or if you're just an agent with one guy who didn't get signed, can you progress him? So there might be something like training academies or some kind of training sessions that you still can get some kind of XP. Yeah, but that's also not confirmed, XP. Right?
Yeah. The team are exploring options when it comes to free agents, unwanted players, because one of the takeaways from play progression was, well, actually, you have to be contracted to a club basically to earn XP, which enables you to progress. The team has said they are exploring solutions for this, and like you said, possibly through training academies where players can earn XP in exchange for maybe $MFL or MFL, but it will be less efficient than in clubs. You can't use it. You can't not have a player signed to a club in the future maybe, and you can just train them, homeschool a kid. You don't get the exact same schooling as maybe going to school. You can't train a player by himself outside of a club and expect to get the same level of development. It looks like that, if that happens in the future,
that's very
a thing, which is fair enough, right?
It's very unrealistic, like in real life.
Yeah.
It would be very weird for someone to not train at all, or at least not have competitive football and still get better without competitive football.
I mean, I like to use the example of Jesse Lingard when he dropped out.
Yeah, I was just about to mention
him. Yeah, training by himself, and everyone's like, "Cool, Jesse Lingard's training in the Middle East, getting back at a club," and it's like he's training by himself. He's nowhere near going to be at the level to perform in like the Premier League again. He might do in the future, but not at the moment. That's why he's gone to South Korea and barely putting in a shift there.
Yes, definitely. All right, let's talk about some other things that were mentioned, like future features, nice tongue breaker, and community engagement. So, for example, positional training. Can you retrain someone to another position? So it might be a possibility. It seems something that would be great for the game, or that can make the game more exciting. But the current focus is on the things they are already there, the primary positions, right?
Not positional training, so that sort of thing, or skills not initially available, but there is potential for it in future updates. So it's really nice to know. I think these are all things that we sort of knew the answer to already. We know these advanced features aren't going to be available now, but they will be in the future, and that's that. Oh, they hope they will be in the future. That's their aspirations, right? There's only a small team. They're doing it phenomenally as it is, and we're all. I guess the key thing we all want is season 1 to come as soon as possible, but make sure it's all polished and nice enough for season 1 to actually happen.
I think it's a bit like anything that you can think of that you would add to this game. The team has also thought of that already, but they know that, you cannot do everything at once. So definitely they're open to all of those suggestions that make it look a bit more like real football or Football Manager. But it's hard to confirm that or say, they all like those plans, and also keep them coming in Discord and idea suggestions or idea board, etc. So would be good. Another exciting thing, season 1 timeline. So we've had Yucks kind of using the eyes in the general before, dropping some dates. So you listened, right? Like in the AMA, how did they announce this? Like the season 1 timeline?
Yeah, so basically it was it kind of just got dropped in there by Matt, and then Lucas was sort of like, eyes emoji, just like saying it out loud. And we basically announcing that the target for season 1 is Q4 of this year, Q4 of 2024. There's no exact date. There's nothing's finalized with the dates. I think that's a good thing, because then it immediately, starts the clock ticking down and puts pressure on them to make sure they deliver by that point. Anywhere in Q4 with me is fine. Anywhere before the end of the year with me is fine. Just not on Christmas Day, please, because I need some time to prepare and things like that.
And the team also has holidays, so I don't think.
Or maybe they do it the day before 2025. So it's like, here's a New Year's gift, bang. End of June. End of January. That's when it starts. But targeted for Q4 this year. That's super exciting. I'm buzzing for it, but it still feels like it's so far away, even though that could technically be the earliest within the next 3 months.
We know the team also doesn't want to rush anything, and it's much better to just deliver a proper first season and rush anything. So Q4 2024 sounds great. On the other end, if it will be Q1 2025, I'm also not too disappointed. It's better take it easy and not rush to the product and deliver it straight away.
Well, I mean, I was actually looking back, and I think that first couple of weeks of July last year, 2023, was when the first season 0.1 either started or ended. I think it was when it started. No, ended. Sorry, ended. I don't know, one of the two. Started or ended then. And I was like, that's mad how we've come this far. A whole year, basically. We've done season 0.7. We're up to season 0.7, coming to the end of season 0.7. But it feels like it's been a lot longer than that. But it's only been a year, which I think is quite surprising in my head. But it's quite likely that by this time next year, we could be talking about season 4 potentially. If it, say end of December release, and then 6 weeks, 7 weeks. That's also another thing that was discussed about calendars and the season being 6 weeks.
Maybe
that sort of thing. So
maybe 1 year Wensum is in silver.
Whoa, Wensum's in silver. Oh, imagine that. We've got to win the cup final on Tuesday first.
So some other long-term goals that they announced related to this. So season 1, of course, is the main focus right now, and then long-term, of course, there's some other things they'd like to do. So a bit more engaged user base, of course, more realistic team management, more in-depth, better experience, 3D match visuals even. So we are waiting for the 2D, maybe even 3D, like in FM already, a bit more community involvement, and also more revenue. So the team, their main revenue source right now is pack drops, of course. So maybe through partnerships or some kind of ads that they could have another revenue stream. It would be amazing. So let's finally look at some game features and updates. What would you say are the main things in there?
I think the biggest has got to be the 2D visuals, right? So 2 weeks ago, Yax dropped, in the dev updates, literally the bottom bullet point. Won't be ready for next season, or won't be ready for the beginning of next season, but likely midway through. okay, just casually drops that in there. They'd continued on the progress of 2D development. And then within the last 2-3 weeks, it's come on leaps and bounds compared to some of the visual teasers we got in previous dev updates from, say, months ago to the one we got now, which I think was probably worth us talking about some of the little things we noticed in there. But, expected before season 1, potentially middle of next season, which is super exciting because it just looks great. And I think maybe let's have a chat about 2D teasers and what maybe some little features that we'd noticed that were included in there. I think there might be something to. Would you be up for that?
No, well, it looks very much like the FM experience, right? Of that 2D. I still, when I play FM, use 2D. I think it's really I don't know, it just gives a nostalgic feeling of like 10 years ago playing it.
Oh yeah,
maybe 50 years ago. And also like kind of a new interface with like on the sides, right? You saw with the lineups and people changing.
Yeah,
the squads, the formations. It looked super exciting. What was another highlight you saw in there?
Yeah, so I then immediately looked at it. I saw it. It got released when I was on holiday. I was like, I've got to have a look at this. I've got to look at everything. And a few things I noticed when looking through it. So in the top left, this looks like it's maybe post-match, that we can get different options for viewing the game or watching it back. So it could be just highlights, extended highlights, a full view, or just a summary. So we've got different options when it comes to viewing it back, which is quite nice. If you want to actually watch the full game, you want to, you're more than welcome to. So you want to do the proper tactical analysis. Also in that little teaser, it looks like we're going to be able to change the speed of the game and even pause it, which the pausing could be really useful if you or to just, maybe you go into the toilet to go open your poo pack. You just want to pause the game before you come back, you can do that. But also fast forwarding it as well. If something happens in the 75th minute right now in MFL, you got to watch the whole game to get to that 75th minute. Could we just skip that? Which actually comes on to a bit in a second. And then I noticed at the bottom we have a very nice timeline. At the bottom is the UI, and that's something we've not seen in any of the previous. We've not currently got an MFL, but it'd just be quite nice to see all the different events as they happen. And then I think someone did also reply. I can't remember who it was now. Someone replied to this and said, actually, maybe we can click on the different events in the timeline to skip straight to them. That sounds really neat, very cool. Because it's Bastisi then put, if it allows us to go to the moment we want. And then I go, so true. I hadn't thought about that being interactive like that. And then Yax liked Bastista's comment about making the timeline interactive. It was like, right, it's official.
It's official.
If Yax likes a tweet or reacts to any message basically in the Discord, you usually know that he's cooking exactly what you're talking about.
And so, we let him cook, of course.
Anything's possible with Yax. He's a master chef. Like, he's a Michelin star dev basically.
Yes. Now it's really you did your little tweet, right? Like deconstructing the whole video.
Yeah, trying to.
So go check that out if you want a bit more details. It was really good.
See beneath the lines.
So 2D massive thing coming up. There was also a mention or question about the international licenses. So now for the first time in the Euros we use those nations. No immediate plans to work on that, but the focus is right now, of course, on the core game development. But again, for the future, it would be really amazing to have it again, or maybe in a more, like, not tournament based, but like all the time with call-ups. We've speculated enough about it before, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The chemistry boost, so the whole chemistry thing, also discussed a lot, not planned for season 1. Again, maybe in the future. We've talked about national chemistry, and I would rather see more, like, how often do they play together? If, let's say, Wensum stays for 5-10 seasons together, that they play to get like a nice bonus because
like sort of like a familiarity sort of thing.
Yeah,
or maybe together as a group, but it also could be linked to formations as well.
True.
Certain players, if they're played in a formation for most of the season or for majority of the season, do they become more, call it, acclimatized and more connected to that formation and can perform better in it? And maybe that prevents the constant changing of tactics and formations that some managers do. Not saying it's a bad thing, because I've got the time and energy for it. But maybe could there be a disadvantage to doing that? For example, you don't see formations being changed up by the manager every week in real life, but
So hopefully it's a bit more multifaceted, let's say, that there's lots of different aspects to
much better way of explaining it, mate. I'm the one who's my first language here.
No worries. Well, there was a question what I'm like the final one that I'm also really excited about is this club delegation with the national teams. The team kind of worked on that on the site. It's like a format. Yeah. And the great thing is it's not one of those things where they said, sounds great, not our main focus right now, but development has started and the team aims to release it in the upcoming months. So club delegation, huge thing. Loads of people have tons of clubs. What if you can just loan it out to someone, also to a friend who has zero assets or doesn't want to put any money in the club? If you can just delegate that club, let him or her manage it, that would be amazing. Yeah. So this is in development. So it's really good.
Yeah, no, it's really great. They're saying development has started on it and the team aims to release it in the upcoming months, which I think is just super, super promising. Like you said, many people want it. It's probably the easiest way to potentially grab your closest friends into the project as well, knowing that like, right, I've got an extra club, you can have a play around with it, see if you like it, and then maybe commit to getting your own club or getting your own players and having a feel with it like that. It's almost like a little trial you can give to your friends as such. So maybe when that Norwich Ice club gets packed, I will have to grab it somehow, regardless of cost. I'll probably get sold it for 1,000 or somebody else for 1,000 for it. But if anyone that aren't a big Norwich fan wants to play, I'm more than happy to let them use that for a bit, or that sort of thing. People can dip their toes in without getting fully submerged.
Yes, really, I think apart from 2D and play progression, and of course promotion relegation, this is another really big thing. So it's great. It's a development. So I think it kind of wraps up the most discussed things in the AMA, and of course also our short update. Yeah, I feel like it's also a bit of pre-season for us, like not in the best shape, just straight after the holiday.
It's our pre-season, yeah.
Pre-season vibe, kind of.
Well, I think even though it's our pre-season, I think we can also talk about this now. Is that obviously this is episode 48, and we've got episode 50 coming around the corner, which nearly means we're coming up to a year. A year would be episode 52. That would make sense, being 52 weeks in a year, but I'm actually not sure if it's a year anniversary or not. Episode 50 is going to be like a big episode for us. So, but what comes with that, and I probably should mention this at the start of the podcast, where more people listening probably, is that will be episode 50 and beyond will be like our season 2. We're going to be like a second season of the WenDirkCast, and that's really an opportunity to you to get involved with how you can shape what season 2 looks like for the WenDirkCast. We have our current structure of our weekly updates for the first, say, half, a third, and then we do maybe a topical episode like we're doing now, or we bring on someone in the community and meet the mogul, meet the MFL team, manager spot, or that sort of thing. Are you happy with that current structure, that format, that layout of the WenDirkCast? Do you want things to be included, removed? This is a prime opportunity, and we'll blast this all over socials, and we'll ask for some more feedback in the next coming weeks. But I think it's nearly 50 episodes, mate. That's nearly a year of the WenDirk. Nearly the year of the WenDirk. It's not just a podcast we've done the streams as well, and I found it really heartwarming when we announced last week on the socials that we won't be streaming for the most recent drop, and everyone was like, no, where's the waffles, where's the quiz? And I think if people like Bastiste did like an impromptu one, which is really great, and actually you'll find this funny, I dropped into Bastiste's stream. Obviously I ain't got a clue what's being said because it's all in French, but I was trying my best. I dropped in on the WenDirk account, I said hello. My second message, ! Raffle. Straight away. I saw a couple follow, and I just thought, this is brilliant. This is what it's like. This is what it's like to just people come in and go ! Raffle when we're not doing a raffle. I loved it.
It's become a great meme. Yeah.
Just go into any stream, ! Raffle.
But yeah, we have to kind of, good to say that we love to receive some feedback, probably send out some survey, maybe some Google Forms, what works. Also, if you want to come on, and we'll definitely plan something special for 50, I guess. But
definitely.
Reveal yet, but stay tuned for that.
No. Ultimately, we want to know, and not just for season 2 of the TheWenDirkCast, but just in general, how can we upgrade? How can we improve? How can we make TheWenDirk a better podcast? Because, ultimately, you as the listeners, you're the ones who receive our content. And what do you like about the podcast? What are you maybe like, could you change it? Could you move it? Doesn't quite make sense. We want to hear it. Any feedback is good feedback for us, So, and also just on that, a massive thank you to all of you who have sort of been listening, been tuning in, been sharing the podcast, just being absolutely phenomenal, engaging on socials, engaging with the hashtags, that sort of thing, because some of the stats recently have just been, like really great, and it's so lovely to see that even during our off season when we're on holiday and we're having to pre-record episodes, they're still getting the exact same response and viewership as if they were done the day before. So awesome. On behalf of Mr. Calver and Mr. Jimbo, to all of you who keep listening, keep doing what you're doing, you're phenomenal.
Definitely. And I think we have a hashtag already.
Are we going to go with it?
Yes, definitely.
Hashtag Bikini Atoll.
Definitely.
That's going to be such a weird one to explain. I love it when people drop the hashtags. Everyone's like, what are you chatting about? What are you talking about? There was one the other week. What was the one the other week we put? Someone was like, what are you talking about?
I think When Academy or something.
It's like, When Academy. When Academy or something along those lines. And people were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, it's the TheWenDirkCast hashtag to make sure you've been listening. And I'm like, yes, that's our listener. That's our listener. So, to prove you've been listening to episode 48 of the TheWenDirkCast, hashtag Bikini Atoll. If you don't know what Bikini Atoll is, just go give it a Google. You'll find plenty of information on it, and we used it in relation to the reaction and almost using it as I was going to say metaphor, it's not even a metaphor for Dio's trade, to represent the seismic scale of the splash of Dio and Scrub's trade, which happened a couple of hours ago, literally hot off the press. If I look at the trade too much, it actually burn my eyes, it's that hot. So, hashtag Bikini Atoll. Calvo, next time we record, the season will be over. You'll be back in Poland.
Yes.
And we will have done our pre-season training and we'll near enough be warmed up, ready for
we'll be
the new season of the
back in form next week. A bit less pre-season form and ready to hit the pitch better. I would say.
Right. On that note, thank you all so very much for listening to the TheWenDirkCast. If you're not following, subscribing, liking, reviewing, 5-star, whatever your podcast platform of choice allows you to do to give that 5-star, go do it right now. Thank you all so very much for listening, and we'll see you this time next week for an episode of the TheWenDirkCast. Thank you for listening.